What's up, guys? I'm Uncle Free. I'm coming to you on another glorious and well-deserved day off. How's it going? So today I think we're going to take on a subject that I do not feel really gets beat on enough partially because it's unsexy, but I think another part of it is people don't fully understand it. And that is real life accuracy. We have all heard
3 rounds, 3 feet, 3 seconds.
that is literally what we've been told to train for, verbatim, because that is the gunfight distance. 3 rounds, 3 feet, 3 seconds or less. Partially part of this comes from an older drill known as the Tooler drill. The Tooler drill stated that if an individual had a knife and he was at 7 yards away from you, he could actually make it to you and inflict damage before you could draw your firearm and engage that person. That is the point in which a knife at distance becomes a lethal threat to your body. And that's kind of where it started. And then we moved into this. Now, granted, there is like some data to back this up, like 100%. Like there is data that says, hey, 3 rounds, 3 feet, 3 seconds, like that happens. That's bad breath distance, street fight kind of mentality. That is where it comes from. But everything we do when we start talking about these numbers is all about speed. It's all
about speed, man. I'm fast.
I get out of the sub-second build drill, right? Like it's all about speed, but it has a side effect. And that side effect is it sucks us into the shot timer. It sucks us into that shot timer, and speed being the only metric that we really cling to because we've been told 3 seconds, 3 yards. We know we got to be fast, right? So we've been told this so many times that it sucks us into the shot timer mentality, and it just sucks us into this whole being fast is the only thing that matters. It's always fast, fast, fast. It's also the same reason that we love shooting steel. There's very little on the planet that is as satisfying as smashing a piece of steel with a handgun round, and even more satisfying when you're shooting an AR at 800 yards and you hit the steel and it takes some time for the ding to get back to you. That is super, super satisfying. It is awesome. But steel has a serious pitfall that we don't discuss as much as shooters and as prepared people, and that is steel does not give us 100% accountability for the rounds that we fired. And that is important. That is so obscenely important. 100% accountability. If I pull the trigger, the round went where I intended for it to go and into the thing I intended it to go into, and not into little Susie, who was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And that is incumbent on you as the shooter. Nobody cares that you did your best. Nobody gives a shit how fast you are. If you miss, nobody cares. And that's where we've done it to ourselves, man. Shot timers, fast, fast, fast. Let's get sucked into the world of shot timer and speed being the only metric that matters. That is why you see a lot of guys shoot and then they don't show their paper targets, because it looks like it got shot with 12 gauge buckshot at 50 yards instead of like a 9mm at 7 yards. And we lose that accountability when we shoot steel, because steel is satisfying. It looks great on camera for you guys, but it doesn't give us that accountability of our shots. But paper does. I strongly encourage everybody, every class I've ever taught, one of the things that I recommend people do is that, yes, shooting steel is fun and an important tool, but the vast majority of your shooting should be done on a paper target that you can score and actually see what's going on, your accuracy. But people don't like that, because it's not as much fun, right? Like nobody wants to run really, like go really fast and be like, man, I suck. I just suck really fast. But shooting paper will tell you things that I harp on in the mindset videos. And that is, instead of knowing exactly like when you should be acting, the most important thing you can learn as a prepared defender is when you should not be doing something. And paper teaches us the things that we should not be doing. Because if you're trying to hit A zone on an IPSC at 50 yards and you can't hit anywhere near the A zone, it's a liability if you shoot at 50 yards if there's a bad situation. That is how we learn those limits and learn, like I said, that important factor of knowing when we should not be doing something. We also have to stop being dishonest about what our real world accuracy is. There are very few shooters that I have watched that show their targets that I see them and I'm like, yeah, that dude can do what he wants. Eric Cowan is one that comes to mind because he can just run the crap out of a gun and it's all in a hole about this big in the middle of the target. But you don't see that a lot of times. And I will tell you, that is not how well I shoot. I am an incredibly proficient shooter, but I am not as fast as some are. And that's okay because that means I have places to work. And I know I have those places to work and get better because I shoot paper. But I hear this a lot from people, and that is I train at about 15 yards. And law enforcement is not exempt from this problem. In fact, law enforcement is probably one of the biggest perpetrators of this issue, which is somehow 15 yards has become the new 50. Back in the day, cops used to shoot in PPC competitions where they would shoot their revolvers at bullseye matches at 50 yards, and they were grouping revolvers at 50 yards. But it's not as easy, and the problem is we will neglect things that aren't easy to have more fun. But law enforcement has this problem. There are a ton of law enforcement agencies that their furthest distance they require law enforcement officers to shoot with their handgun is 15 yards and in. So essentially, 15 yards is the new 50, right? That is where we've effectively gone. And when I ask people like the question on their distance, I will always ask them why you only shoot that far away. And the answers I get are a little surprising, which is, well, if it's not, I can't, my house is 10 yards long, or anything outside of 15 yards is no longer self-defense. Okay. So I'm going to challenge you. Walmart, schools, Target, hospitals, parking lots, car dealerships, theaters, ball fields. How much you want to bet your average engagement distance in those locations is a hell of a lot longer than 15 yards. The problem is we don't go out and see it. So we don't understand that that limitation is a real problem. And real world accuracy, yeah, you may be in that fight that is 3 rounds, 3 feet, in 3 seconds. But you also may be in that fight in a Walmart parking lot with a dude with a rifle and you're 50 yards away. Real world accuracy doesn't care what you train for. And Murphy and bad people don't care what you train for. If you suck at shooting at 40 yards, even better for the bad guy. We have been inundated in the last several years when it comes to shooting. It's all about speed. It's speed over everything, and we will neglect our accuracy and even more precision for speed. The problem is, and this is the part that people don't talk about, and some people just don't know, is speed and accuracy is a scale that sits in front of you as a shooter. And that thing in the middle of it slides to one side or the other. If I am at 5 yards, what do you think is more important for me as a defensive-minded citizen, right? At 5 yards, speed is the most important thing I have going for me. However, let's switch that. And now I'm in Walmart. And a guy just walked in the door 35 or 40 yards away from me, and he is opening fire. And I have no cover, and I need to respond. What is more important? It ain't speed. Nobody gives a shit how fast I get the gun out of the holster. What people care about is that I eliminate a threat with extreme prejudice at that distance. So now accuracy is the king, right? That scale moves. One of them will always be more important than the other. Very rarely are they equal. And the thing is, we can find instances at 7 yards where your accuracy is far more important than how fast you do it. And those are like low percentage shots or hostage shots or partial exposure of a threat. They're like learning when to go fast and learning when to slow down and make a good shot is one of the hardest things we learn as shooters. And there are a lot of good people out there. So just over a year ago, or just under a year ago, I had an opportunity to go out and train with Sean Griffith of Griffith Shooting Solutions. I highly recommend you guys check him out. He is out of Georgia. He is a fantastic competition shooter. And he exposed me to things that I did not know were a fault in my own training, my own work. And it was learning things like when I could go fast, where I could go fast at, and more importantly, how to slow myself down and recognize where the line is so that I don't drive over that line and crash my car trying to go fast in a situation that requires me to slow down and make an accurate shot. It's a scale. If you're not training it as a scale, you are wrong. So in the real world, where real consequences exist, we require and absolutely have to have 100% accountability for our actions as a defender for every round we fire. And while speed is a determining factor a lot of times in whether or not you will win a gunfight, because here's the thing, bad guys go first. I've covered this before. Bad guys go first. You have to wait and respond, which means you're already behind. So you being very fast, getting your hand to the holster, getting your gun out of the holster, and getting your gun into the fight is very important. But knowing how to throttle that back to get a perfect sight picture and break that shot off is more important. Because nobody cares how fast you got it out of the holster if you missed the dude when you did it. So again, speed is a factor we have to look at. But it's about how fast you draw, how fast you recognize the situation. Because here, you want to know how to make up speed in an area where accuracy is far more important. It's how fast you process information, right? How fast the beep on the shot timer makes your hand react to go down to your gun. How fast you notice that guy that came into the store is an actual threat, and you're going to have to deal with that. How fast you recognize that, oh, that's not an airsoft gun in that dude's hand that just walked in the door of Walmart. Your brain's ability to recognize and process that information and give you an actual solution that you can react to is a place where we lose a lot of freaking time. And a lot of that is because our awareness around us, see the mindset triad, sucks because we live in a place where we don't have to use it all the time. So I will tell you this as far as real life accuracy is concerned, and I hold officers that shoot with me to this standard because I do think law enforcement needs to do better. If you are not putting the rounds, and I mean this wholeheartedly, if you are shooting a firearm and you are not putting all of the rounds exactly where the hell you are supposed to be putting them, you will never miss fast enough to recover from that missed shot. That is just fact. It is real life. And the vast majority of people, and I see this a lot of times, so we're clear. I see this a lot. YouTube, I'm in a safe area of my home where I dry fire and maintenance firearms. There is actually Kevlar paneling on the wall directly behind my camera. So yay for that. Now you know. Not for you, for them. You will never make up fast enough. You see this a lot with competition shooters, and I think it's probably one of the greatest skill sets that comp shooters have that other people don't. And that is, you will see them come out. They will engage, boom, boom, boom. And there is zero break in between they break that shot and fire a makeup shot. That is because they witnessed where their dot was when they broke that shot, and they, through experience and repetition, knew that they had missed and were able to correct that shot that fast. Whereas, you know how I know you're not doing it? Because I see this all the time. Boom, boom. Oh, shit. Boom. Right? I see that. You drop that gun out of your fruit and come back up because you realize that piece of steel didn't make any noise. You weren't checking your work through your sights. You weren't responding to what your sight picture was. You were waiting on feedback from the thing you shot at. Right? Somebody's going to be like, well, if you shoot a guy, it's a bad guy, and you hit him and he makes noise. I have seen methed up people get shot that don't care. Right? It's a thing. So again, if you're not putting the rounds exactly where you mean for them to go in training, because if you can't do it in training, you cannot do it in real life. This isn't a freaking video game. There's no respawn. You don't start over. Nobody cares about your best intentions. You will never miss fast enough to recover that missed shot you've made, especially when you don't check your work through sights and you drop the gun out of view and have to bring it back up, because those hundredths of a second add up to you losing a fight. So I'm going to leave you guys with this. And this is how I teach and how I train people. You should train every single range trip, every time, for accuracy and precision. Now, what does accuracy and precision mean? So let's say this handy dandy thing was a cranial vault. And the only conceivable area I had that would actually make a round make an instant impact stop is right there on this line. This, being a smaller target, is a high accuracy target. I have to have a higher level of accuracy to only shoot this and not miss. But I need a higher level of precision to put the round right there. Accuracy versus precision. They're a thing. They are not exclusive together. They are mutually exclusive. You can have a high accuracy shoot with very little precision, and you can have a very precise shoot on a very low accuracy target, right? Such as I shot the freaking button on dude's shirt, and all I needed to do was center mass, but I was aiming for the button. That is a precision shot on a low accuracy target standard. But every range trip, you should be shooting for accuracy and precision. And the absolute majority of your speed training, people aren't going to like this. So when we go to the range, what is the part of this situation that I cannot train and, importantly, dry fire? I can go fast all day long in dry fire. Getting my hand to the gun, getting the gun out, defeating my locking mechanism in the holster, getting the gun out of the holster, getting the gun in a presentation into the fight, seeing my sights aligning, breaking the shot, right? I can practice all of that with zero ammo in my freaking living room or in the basement behind the camera right here. However, I cannot practice and ensure supreme accuracy and precision because I don't have a metric on the target where the bullet went. The majority of your speed work needs to be done at home, in dry fire. When you go to the range to expend that ever so valuable, hard to find sometimes ammunition, your focus needs to be on accuracy and precision. Because truthfully, nobody really gives a shit if you're fast. If you shoot something that didn't need to be shot, the families don't care, man. Nobody cares how fast you are. If you didn't hit what needed to be hit, and you, more importantly, if you hit something that didn't need to be hit, they don't care how fast you get the gun out of the holster. They care that you were presented with a high accuracy, high precision needed shot, and you screwed it up because you were fast. That's real life accuracy. Real life accuracy is understanding that speed, accuracy, and precision are three things that are independent of each other. And there is a scale that moves along that thing. The closer we get to precision, the slower we're moving. I can still be fast and accurate, but once I start moving to precision, my speed falls off the map. They are three completely separate things in a line. Speed, accuracy, precision. I can go really fast with low accuracy and low precision if I have a high probability target at 3 yards. But now if I need to make that shot at 25 yards and I need to hit that dude in the freaking eye hole, well, my speed's going to taper way off and I'm going to bypass accuracy and I'm going to go all the way over here to precision to make sure that when I break that shot, I hit exactly what I meant to hit and nothing else. So stop viewing your world in the world of I'm fast. Speed, accuracy, precision. They are all important to shooting, and they are three completely different facets on a sliding scale. You will never have high speed precision. Not with a freaking handgun. At least I've never seen anybody with it. But you can have fast accuracy. You can have slow accuracy, but when we move into slower accuracy, you're shooting precision, not accuracy. So guys, hopefully this gave you something to think about. Maybe some training stuff that you can correct. Do not get sucked into that shot timer. Work on your speed, your reps, getting the gun out of the holster. Work on your own awareness so that you can get closer to when the clock actually starts. Because you recognizing those signs of danger that are about to run your ass over before they run you over means you are not as far behind Because make no mistake, gunfights are measured in hundreds of seconds. The difference between winning, losing, and dying in a gunfight is literally under a second. It's hundredths of a second sometimes. That little, we're buying those with our awareness, with our speed to hand to holster, with our draw, defeating the mechanisms. We are buying those hundredths of seconds that add up to tenths of seconds that add up to a victory in the worst day of our life. But none of that freaking matters if the shot you were presented with was a precision target and you went ultra freaking fast and just screwed it up. Three separate things. It's a sliding scale. No one is more important than the other, and that only comes through training and putting rounds down range. So go out there and train, guys. Shoot some ammo. Get used to your stuff. Get good with your equipment, because nobody cares how cool it is if you miss what you're shooting at. So, guys, I am Uncle Freedom. Thanks for hanging out with me today. As always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and until next time, I'll see you later.